Hey, it's me. Today, I'm doing the second installment of Fixing Things I've Ruined. That's right, I've ruined so many things, it's gonna take multiple videos to fix them. It'll probably just be a never-ending cycle, so we can look forward to that. I put up a poll recently, gave you guys some video options, and this video was the most highly requested by far, although it's kind of weird how every time I put up a poll, it's always the top option that gets the most votes.
Very suspect.
Are you guys just not reading the rest of the options? Or am I subconsciously entering the best option first? Is it just complete coincidence? This is why statistics can never be trusted. There's always something weird happening. Also, I noticed that 3 out of my last 4 videos have been about fixing things. I did fixing my old artwork. I did fixing your squishies. Now I'm doing fixing things I ruined. I'm on a rampage. Okay, anyway, these are some of the things that I've ruined. We have some of the same stuff as last video, a lot of hydro dip stuff. Few new faces here. Victim of thumbnail creation right there. You may notice this girl. If you know my channel, you recognize her. She's known as the face of failure around here because I screwed up so terribly on her paint job. And since this is the most well-known failure of my channel, so many of you wanted me to fix her in this series. It's not quite that simple because I've sanded her so that the paint has adhered really well and the paint that's on there is super lumpy and there's just no way to fix that. I would just have to go over it and it would still be lumpy and we'd have the same result again. That being said, I want to give the people what they ask for, so I have a little surprise for you. I have purchased another one of these squishies, and I'm going to do it completely over. And I'm very nervous. If I screw it up twice, then there's really no excuse. There's really not. So this is how I'm gonna start this video. Let's do it. So in the original video where I first painted the squishy, side note, the colors are so different from the original squishy I used to this one. I've already talked extensively about her many shortcomings, including her fish lips and huge, perfectly circular, incredibly creepy fish eyes. I think the bulging eyeballs are really to blame for what happened to this girl because I kept trying to make them look less scary, obviously unsuccessfully, and due to my inability to just stop, this is my fault. I ended up creating a very unattractive, chunky mess all over her face. By the way, the reason she looks different now than she did in the original video is because I did try to repaint her face off camera. So we have 4 different versions of this floating around. The original squishy, the original after makeover, the original after makeover but slightly altered, the new before makeover, and now I'm gonna be creating the new after the makeover. That's not confusing at all.
Are we done yet?
I'd honestly be fine just never talking about her again, but since some of you have just been hounding me about her to try again, here we are. My first step, I'm gonna remove the fish lips. I've done this once, I'm gonna do it again. They need to go. I'm also flattening parts of her outfit just because I wanna alter the style of it a little bit. Heavily debated about cutting her eyeballs off. But I'm really trying to avoid adding too much texture on her face, and I don't know, just a hunch, but I think cutting out her eyeballs and then having to patch enormous eye sockets is probably gonna cause some pretty gnarly scarring. The bug eyes are here to stay. Welcome. Hi. Now I'm going over all of these rough spots with a nice layer of puffy paint to try to patch them up. Wow, deja vu. She's already looking like Sis did. Hopefully that's not a bad sign. Oh, and this is where I realized I forgot to sand her. What the? Have I forgotten everything that I know? This really should have been done before I did any kind of painting. Back to the patching process. Like that sound effect? Made it myself. I added many thin layers of paint in order to get the smoothest surface possible. There. Now aren't you glad that I'm fixing you? Okay, you're in good hands now, sweetie. Jordan just walked into the room. I got scared. I'm adding a clean coat of white fabric paint to give us a nice fresh start here. Clear all the creepiness away. Actually, somehow this thing still looks pretty freaking creepy. Uh-oh. Onto the back. Good transition. I really do like both the outfit and the hair of my original design. Oh, it looks like her ghost that's like haunting her. Okay, growing up now, even though I like my old design, to just paint the same thing over again would really be boring for me, and possibly for you too.
Who are you?
I don't know, I won't speak for you, but it would bore me. So I am going to change it up completely. So I'm doing her hair in half and half, bright pink and bright orange. I really admire people who rock the colorful hair because I don't think I could ever do it. One, because my hair grows super fast, so then I'd end up having to constantly maintain it. I just can't bring myself to sign up for that. Currently, my hair routine is to wash it. And some days I brush it. I'd rather spend time ruining perfectly good squishies and doing the other very important things that I do on this channel. Time to paint the skin. The original is just a tad bit too desaturated. Hopefully this will be an improvement. And this is the point where I was legitimately getting nervous because the time to paint her face is like getting nearer and nearer. Okay, it's time for her face. I can't. All right. I am going to try to give her eyelids. Yes, again, I'm doing that again. I'm not expecting a masterpiece here. I'll be happy with just creating something that's not terrifying. That's all I ask. It's not a lot. The lips on the original were just atrocious, so I'm simplifying that completely to just a cartoon smiley face. Let's see if I can manage that. Final touch, the highlights to her eyes, and there. She still looks like a Muppet.
It's fine. No big deal.
Is this what you people wanted? Oh, and look who's here to gloat. Shut it, okay? I added some eyebrows, which actually really did significantly help. They made her a lot cuter, in my opinion. So now we're moving on to the rest of the body. I'm filling in her skin on her arms and her legs first, and then it's time to clothe her, of course. Her outfit is going to match her hair naturally. I realized that I don't use orange very much. It's kind of a neglected color for me, but I was trying to branch out a little bit. So that's what the orange is about. And her whole outfit is going to be like the half and half kind of feel, which I think is groovy.
No.
Yeah, I said groovy. What's the problem here? I particularly like how she has two different colored shoes. I'm adding some white accents to kind of break up the very saturated colors and give it a little bit more of a finished look. Adding some shoelaces. Girl, this is not a good angle for you. And here we have it. It's finished. Honestly, I have no idea how you guys will feel about this. Will you think it's better than the original or just as bad or even worse than the original? All I can say is I tried my best. Maybe go easy on me because I only did it for you, okay? This is for you. Me personally, I do think it's better than the original. The paint job is cleaner, her skin is nice and smooth. Of all the human squishies that I've made, she's my favorite. That being said, at absolute best, still slightly creepy. Maybe it's creepy in a cute way. Yeah. Depending on how you look at it, this could be my first double failure.
Hello, failure. We meet again.
I think it's time to move on.
Back to our table of options here. I think the next one I'm gonna choose this. This is a failed Hydro Dip paint palette. It's actually not that terrible. It's just got really spotty coverage and the colors get muddy in one too many places for me. I'm not really feeling it, you know? I just think it could be better. Let's get to it.
So yes, I'm painting another paint palette. I've done this before. I actually think this Hydro Dip looks so much better on camera. It's very photogenic or videogenic. But when I see it in person, it bothers me. First thing I gotta figure out is how to remove this clumpy spray paint from the surface. Yeah! In typical form, I failed to remove the protective plastic before painting it. How many times have I made this mistake? I think I've lost count. This time, I'm actually grateful. I might as well be a genius because now my job is a lot easier. That was a bad idea. Okay, you're back to being stupid now. Clean that up, and floating across the screen, that's gesso. There it goes. All I need to do here is gesso this. I'm making a point to first paint over the reflection of my ring light because it was distracting. And gesso, gesso, gesso the entire thing. Wonderful. Time for the color. So I've chosen a light blue for the background on this, so I'm just covering the entire thing. There, blue palette. So now a blank piece of paper will appear behind it.
I told you. I'm basically going to use this to sketch out my design because it's easier to sketch on paper than over a painted surface. I'm gonna draw something that I came up with during one of my recent videos. I recently did a dragon fruit themed seashell. I made the connection between the inside of a dragon fruit and a Dalmatian. So from there, I decided that the only logical thing to do with that information is to create a new character, which is a Dalmatian inside of a dragon fruit. I'm turning that over and getting out a very dreadful thing. I've literally made 6-foot-long drawings in charcoal because I had to, but I cannot stand the way it feels. It gives me the heebie-jeebies. Imagine having the heebie-jeebies for an entire semester. But today, I'm just using it very quickly, just on the back of my sketch so that I can transfer it onto the paint palette. I'm pretty sure there's a type of transfer paper that's used just for this purpose, but I don't have that currently, so this is just what we doing. Maybe I should get that transfer paper. I'm gonna be draining this design. Please educate yourself on this term. I recently saw one of the words that I made up in a video on Urban Dictionary. I don't know who added that, but thank you. Let's get draining on there too. I didn't want to leave the background completely empty, but I also didn't want anything to distract from my character here. So I decided to just kind of create some colorful stripes that lead your eye. As I complained about last time I painted a dragon fruit theme, dragon fruits are kind of tricky. I didn't want it to be too busy, so I was trying to squeeze in as much detail as I could without over cluttering. As much as I love Poscas, I do sometimes have problems with the paint from them cracking, so I'm breaking out my old-fashioned paint and I'm going over with that, and that will fix the cracking. I'm not exactly sure what the cause is, possibly applying the paint too thickly or just adding too many layers. You can see that this design did end up changing quite a bit from my original sketch because I wanted more of the puppy to be visible. So sometimes I come up with an idea and I think it's really original, but then I Google it and it turns out somebody's already done something similar. It's a terrible feeling. But I Googled dragon fruit Dalmatian and I did not see a single image like this. And that makes her special. So I really wanted to name her, but I don't want to go with something basic like Speckles, although Speckles is kind of cute. If you have an idea for a name, comment down below. I'll pick my favorite options and then I'll enter them into a poll on the community tab, and whichever wins, that'll be her name. Finally, adding the black stripe into the background. I don't know why I waited for the very end for that. Doing some touch-ups, some cleanups, signing it, and now it looks pretty good, but if you look close, there are quite a few places where we have some cracking. I just can't deal with that. So what I do to fix it is grab some varnish, pour it in here, move it over there, dip my paintbrush. Gotta stop narrating every little thing. The varnish itself isn't going to fix the cracks, but once it dries, you can go back over any of the affected areas. I don't know if there's a better way of dealing with this. I just dealt with it the only way I knew how. And then finally, I went back over all of that with another clear coat, and here's the final result. I definitely like this paint palette better now than what it was. Oh, it's just so cute. It's kind of like an out of nowhere kind of idea, and it might look slightly random on my display wall of paint palettes, but I'm satisfied. I'm happy that I got this idea out there. I also really love the color scheme. I love it.
Okay, and the final thing I'm gonna choose is this. It is another failed hydro dip thing. This one is really bad. The paint that's still on here is just really messy and ugly, but most of it is just kind of crumbling off. We need to fix this. I'm pretty sure most of you wanted me to choose the Russian nesting doll, because who wouldn't want to paint that? I only have a week to make each video, so I'm definitely not gonna have time to paint this entire thing. This might have to be its own video, so we're going with the little container.
My first task is to try to chip off all of this paint, so I had to get out a scraper, and this is the best part. Oh, look at that fat piece. So great. The rest was not so cooperative. It looks a lot more satisfying in the sped up version, but in reality, it was a very long, very messy, very unfun process with very slow progress and many varies. But eventually I did get through and I got all of that paint scraped off, more or less. this. And here's the mess. It's like really trashy confetti. Vacuuming it up though, that was pretty satisfying. All right, so I want to prevent my new paint job from having the same fate as the last one. So I've gotten out this rarely used box. This is what I need. Thank you. I don't even really know what else is in here. I'm using this scrub pad to try to scratch off as much of the remaining paint as possible, as well as like the outermost coating of the plastic, which gives us a little bit better of a surface to paint on. I do want to let you guys know that I have a huge, really exciting launch of products coming out, and we are doing a giveaway with some of these items. All you have to do to enter is sign up for the store mailing list. The link to the website will be in the description. If you sign up for that list, you will also be able to shop 3 hours earlier than everyone else. This will all be launching officially next Friday, but the website will reveal a new product every day starting on August 10th. All right, so I'm done scrubbing this and now I'm just wiping it down to get any excess dust off. Okay, nice. I think it is prepared to paint. Switching cameras, and I'm gonna be using spray paint. Come in here. Oh, don't mess with that. Put it back. I honestly don't like spray paint that much. It's really best to use outside, and I just hate having to film outside, so I'm gonna cheat this a little. Ready? Oh wow, look at that. That was great. Okay, flipping that over and got some white paint now. Here comes my sketch, pop, and my pen. Oh snap. Now, don't feel cheated with missing the actual spray painting process. You really didn't miss anything good. Just the wind blowing this over multiple times, and then it getting stuck to the bottom of the tarp, and then a literal rainstorm coming out of nowhere and filling up the container with water. I feel like spray paint is kind of more trouble than it's worth. I sure hated every moment of it, but whatever, it's painted now. I've put a lot of time and effort into my designs for this video so far. I'm just gonna do something a little bit more simplistic and just chill. First coat's done, time for the second. Oh, perfect. I'm doing real well with the transitions today. Am I making decent art? Debatable. But the stupid little transitions, yeah, those are happening today. Now I'm going over and trying to add some dimension to these with a brighter red. Keep in mind, this thing was like a 99-cent bathroom organizer. So the fact that I'm putting so much time and effort into decorating it is interesting. That's okay. We don't always need to do something huge or spend a ton of money to have fun and be creative. We can enjoy the simple things, right? I added some highlights, which of course really bring it to life. Ugh, the highlights are the best part of every project, I swear. And little green stems, which did look a little bit too flat, so I did try to give them a little bit of dimension. I added my signature. I kind of turned it into like a design element, so I repeated it like a pattern. Feels a little bit narcissistic to be writing me all over something, but those are just my initials, okay? I added several thick coats of varnish on here, and here's the final transformation. It's real simple, but it's cute. I believe I have 2 other containers like this, so I'm wondering if I should do the other 2 in like kind of a matching style. That would be so cute! Although it's a pretty bad habit to keep saying ideas that I have randomly on the spot in my videos. I've probably put so many ideas out there that I've just never gotten around to. Maybe one of these days I can go back and watch all my videos and write down every missed idea that I've come up with, and then I'll just do all of them. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, especially those of you who voted for it in the poll. I'm quite happy with all of these. Yes, even you. And I definitely had fun with them, so thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye.